In this video, we're going to look at recording to the TE tuner, saving those recordings, and then recalling them later for playback. But before we do that, I want to talk about a couple things that we didn't get to in the last video. First off, if you swipe from the right edge of your device between the metronome and the tone range button, like this, you will see a sound levels menu. This is basically a mixer. The sine wave refers to the loudness of the pitch generator in the sounds window. Then next to that is the metronome, so I can adjust the loudness of the metronome, and I can also adjust the input monitor of the microphone. For example, it's a little high here. It's at 1 dB, so I'm going to bring that down to 0 just by dragging it with my finger. And below that is the file playback. So if you record something and you play it back, you can change the volume of that as well. To get rid of this, you tap on all these chevrons here, the little arrows, and it'll go away. Now, the other thing that we should talk about is if you double tap in the analysis window itself, it will freeze the window. Then you can play back from the tuner's buffer. You can move around this frozen window too by dragging the cursor or pinching the display. Now, if I want to go back to its scrolling again, I double tap again. If I want to expand the window that the sound file is in, I'm going to take two fingers and I'm going to tap on the window once, and it makes it bigger. Now, even though it's bigger, I can still drag down the controls for the metronome. So they're still there, they're just kind of hidden. And you can also access the sound levels menu by swiping from the right. So they're still there. If you want to go back to the regular size, take two fingers and single tap again. And there it is. Now let's talk about recording to the TE tuner. If you want to record, the first thing you need to do is enable the record icons, the transport, the record button, all the things that you need to do this. So just like we swiped in from the right-hand side to get the sound level control, the mixer, we're going to swipe in from the left-hand side, and I do it just under the temperament button and above that little microphone. So I'm going to swipe in from the left, and it gives me a menu of things that I can use now to make my recording. The red box now is selected, and there's a microphone in it, so I'm going to be making an audio recording. If I select the video camera below that, I can make a video recording. Below that is the file menu, so in case I don't want to actually record, I just want to pull something up that I've recorded earlier and play it back, I can just look at that. And then below that is the record button, and this will allow me to record new audio to the tuner. So once I tap on that to go into record, it'll start recording, and then when I want to end recording, I tap on it again, and it will end my recording. So let's record something. I'm going to tap on the red record button, play something, and when I'm done, I'm going to tap on it again. So now I finished recording, and there is my recording. It's ready to be played back. And you can see that below the record button is now a triangle for the transport to play. So if I want to play this file, I'll push the triangle, the play button. Once that is playing, that turns to a pause, and I can pause it as well. Now below that is a green arrow that's circling back on itself. This is the loop indicator, and if it's green, that means looping is on. And the loop points are the green line on the bottom of the waveform display here. So I can adjust these by dragging on them. And now the loop will happen by the barriers of the green line here. Now if I turn looping off, even though my cursor is going to stay in the same place, it no longer is going to conform to those loop points. It's going to play the whole file. Now I can, if I want to, on the upper portion of the analysis window, I can tap my finger and the cursor will move anywhere I want, or I can drag it. So even though the indicator was left where the loop started when I turned looping off, if I play it to the end, it will, and loop is not on, it will play to the very end and it'll start from the beginning. So let's go ahead and listen to this with the loop point on. And now I've paused it. You can see to the upper left of the waveform, there is an indicator that's counting the elapsed time. So right now where I paused it, we've gone 9.5 seconds. This is nice if I want to drag the cursor somewhere to start playback in a specific place. I can look at that counter and know exactly where I am in time. Now let's say I put this here at the end and I turn off the loop. As you can see, it's going to play to the end. It's no longer going to loop around by the loop points. And then it stops. Now if I hit play, it's going to start from the very beginning of the file, not the loop point. So these are the different ways that the tuner works, whether you are looping or not. Now below the loop indicator is a magnifying glass with a microphone in it. This means that any analysis that's being done, like pitch for example, is being done through the microphone. It's being done live. If I want to analyze the file itself from its side, I will tap that magnifying glass and now it's analyzing the file itself, no longer the microphone. Now below the magnifying glass is a button that says tempo plus pitch. I can tap on that and it'll bring up some adjustments that I can make to this file. So I can change the speed at which it plays. I can play it slower or faster. So if you're trying to figure out what somebody did on a recording and you import it into the tuner, you can slow it down and listen to it in a way that you can maybe hear what's actually happening. If you need to adjust the pitch to match your instrument, you can do that here as well too. When you record something, by default, it's saved into the tuner. So to see that, we're going to tap on the folder icon here. And there, underneath my folders that I've already created, it says Tuesday, May 18th, 2021 at 3:17 in the afternoon, and it's selected. So that is the file. Every time you make a recording, when you're done, it gives it a default name of the date and time. Now let's say I want to change that. I'm going to go down to this bottom menu here underneath the file menu where I have select, trim, import, new folder, and then I can addition from here, as well as change the file playback level or the tempo and pitch, or turn on the loop even. So there's a lot you can do here. I'm going to hit select, and now I get a different menu down here, and by default, my file has already been selected even though the waveform is no longer being displayed in the window. So I can say I'm done. I can export it. So if I want to send it to somebody or to my computer, I can do that. I can put it in another folder. That's what the folder icon's for. I can rename it or I can delete it. In this case, we want to rename it. So I'm going to hit rename and it's going to bring up a dialog box and I'm just going to rename this file. So first let's get rid of the name that's there. And now give it a new name. Now we have a new name, and I'm going to hit rename. And there it is. So now I've renamed this file, My Great Recording, and it says .wave. It's a WAV file. It's another thing I didn't mention. The recordings that you make to the TE Tuner are lossless recording. WAV is a high-quality recording, like a CD. Now if I want to select that again, I'm going to hit done, and now I'm going to select the recording again, My Great Recording, and there it is. It's back in the window. This is a very powerful feature, I think, because I can go in here and I can select other examples of recordings that I've done earlier, months earlier. For example, here's something I did earlier today, and it's another recording of a Native American flute, so I can call this one up. Or if I want to go back to the one we made, I can tap Migrate Recording, and I can select it. I use this feature a lot, especially for analyzing files and listening to what I'm doing. I also use it when I am working on duets and I want to play one part into the tuner and then play the other part live while the tuner is playing the first part that I recorded. So basically I can practice on duets by recording myself and then playing against myself. Another nice feature of the tuner is that you can create folders, and in those folders you can put specific recordings that maybe you want to have in a separate place so it's easier for you to find them. Because you can see here, if I scroll down, I've got a lot of recordings here. I've done quite a bit. All right, that's a look at how you make recordings to the TE tuner. See you in the next video.